Hello friends. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to explain episode 1 of the new Japanese BL series, Fake Fact Lips. Please support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you. The story begins with Ryo arriving at the office and greeting his coworker, Shido. Ryo starts saying that he is the one who won this quarter. For Shido, this time Ryo was just lucky. He shouldn't be so full of himself. But Ryo insists, he is the best performer in the sales department this year. Ryo then asks about Shido's performance. Shido had bragged too much before, doesn't he feel embarrassed? Another coworker, Higashino, says that Shido is also ranked number 1 in their division. Shido starts to get annoyed and angry. Ryo just reminds him about the competition between the two of them. Shido says that the project he is currently working on will become a big one. Higashino runs toward Onishi, who is already used to seeing arguments between Ryo and Shido. Their rivalry is legendary in the sales department. It always happens whenever the sales numbers are released. Flashback to a project presentation. Ryo says that he came with 3 proposals compared to Shido. Shido says quality is better than quantity. Producing useless proposals is just a waste of effort. Ryo reminds him that it's better to prepare more material than just keep talking. Their argument happens in front of the team leader. When the monthly rankings come out, it often happens. Onishi adds that neither of them wants to lose. Ryo and Shido are seen competing again. Minami, who happens to pass by, is asked to be their judge. Ryo and Shido start competing, and Ryo wins again. Onishi says they can't stop themselves from competing in anything. Shido, who is busy on the phone, says he will do his best to meet his clients' expectations. He will also keep updating any progress. Shido apologizes to Higashino for startling him earlier. Higashino says it's fine. Shido is always cool and smart. Onishi agrees, but wonders why Shido's IQ seems to drop whenever Ryo is around. Shido says that whenever he sees Ryo, he loses his mind. Onishi, who knows Ryo is from Division 1, asks why Shido doesn't just compete within his own division. Shido replies that he doesn't want to compete with everyone. He just doesn't want to lose to Yatsuya Ryo. Onishi gets curious and asks why Shido is so obsessed with beating Ryo. Higashino also asks if there's another reason besides them joining the company at the same time. Shido says he has bad luck with Ryo. They've been rivals since high school. Onishi and Higashino are surprised. Shido knows it's foolish to still be like this after graduating. But it has become a habit. Higashino asks if there's a penalty for the loser. Shido just holds back his frustration. That night, Shido carries a lot of groceries and comes to Ryo's apartment. Ryo opens the door and reminds him that the winner is in control. They start toasting, celebrating Ryo taking first place in sales. Shido asks why he has to celebrate Ryo's victory. Ryo reminds him of the rule, the winner decides. He has to accept it and celebrate. Shido proposes a competition. Whoever finishes their drink first wins. Ryo agrees. And once again, Ryo wins. Shido asks if Ryo thinks he will keep losing forever. He shows a business card from Kuritani Yuka, a beautiful girl from the secretary department. She slipped her card into his hand that morning. Shido becomes arrogant, saying that the most hard-to-reach woman in the company actually asked him out. Shido takes back the card and looks at Ryo, who stays silent. Then suddenly he shouts that Yuka has bad taste. He didn't expect her to be shallow and only judge based on looks. Because this always happens with every woman who chases Shido. Ryo starts listing names, Yoshizawa in their first year of high school. Sake and Mitsu in the second year. And Irie in the third year. Shido asks how Ryo remembers all of that. Ryo says that every time Shido dates someone, he comes to brag in front of him. And when it ends, he comes crying to him. Shido refuses to accept that. Ryo is just jealous. Because Shido is popular. No matter how good Ryo is at work, he has no luck with women. They start arguing again. Shido says he is a reliable man with professional dignity. Someone who strives for victory in the future. And most importantly, he is handsome. Ryo can admire his charming face. Ryo gets annoyed and tells him to stop bragging. Shido talks about his college days. He even had a man, who already had a girlfriend, confess to him. Ryo is very shocked hearing that. But Shido might be on the same level as his ex. Ryo can't believe someone would have such questionable taste. Ryo tells Shido to sleep with women. He himself isn't even interested in sleeping with Shido. Shido asks why Ryo assumes he would be the bottom. Ryo says Shido could resist his ex. Shido explains that if he were a woman, he wouldn't sleep with someone as unskilled as Ryo. Ryo refuses to accept that. They decide to prove it. They'll see who can last longer. Ryo reminds Shido that he suggested the competition, so he shouldn't regret it. When Shido is about to go to the bathroom, Ryo stops him, saying it's unfair. They begin their competition. Ryo asks if Shido did this with that guy in college. Shido says he doesn't mind doing things like this with friends. Hearing that, Ryo starts touching him. And also begins kissing him. Shido loses, and Ryo wins again. Frustrated, Shido says today has been a disaster. When Shido tries to go home, Ryo stops him because it's not over yet. Ryo pushes him down, saying since Shido has experience with men, he should sleep with him. Shido asks how things turned out like this. Ryo reminds him, the winner decides. Seeing Shido making excuses, Ryo says this is the first time Shido has broken their rule. Shido says a real man keeps his promises. They spend the night together. Afterward, Ryo asks if Shido is okay. Shido is annoyed because it's all Ryo's fault. Ryo says Shido's body ended up needing him. And just apologizes. Shido says he should be the one saying that. If Ryo ends up falling in love with him and can't be with women anymore, he shouldn't blame him. Ryo refuses, saying Shido will be the one to fall in love first. And a new competition begins. Whoever makes the other fall in love first wins. Ryo agrees. Flashback to high school. On the basketball court, they competed to score points. And also in exam rankings. They created many competitions. When they graduated, they thought their rivalry would end. Young Ryo looks at Shido walking away in another direction. But in reality, when they attend new employee orientation, they meet again. And the competition starts once more. Shido says whoever gets promoted first wins. Ryo agrees, and they start running. The next day, Shido wakes up. He sees Ryo already awake, greeting him good morning. He asks if Shido wants him to make something. Or coffee. Shido nods. As Ryo is about to make coffee, he remembers something. He kisses Shido's forehead. Seeing Shido's reaction, Ryo reminds him about their new competition. Shido says he won't back down. He quickly gets dressed. As Shido leaves, Ryo quietly murmurs an apology.
That was the explanation of episode 1 Fake Fact Lips. If you enjoyed my video, please like and subscribe. See you again in the next episode.